All right, this is going to be an upper body workout with a chest focus, utilizing a Weider Ultimate Body Works and or a Total Gym if you guys have it. And one set of this is actually going to incorporate a pair of dumbbells for the chest presses. I'm actually going to utilize a chest press for this. So if you don't have a bench, you actually can utilize this, which I'll talk about later. Links are down below for all the equipment, as well as the routine that I follow. If you guys are curious what routine I follow, if you're new to this channel, it's always helpful if you like and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you like this type of workouts, my channel is filled with all different types of workouts, utilizing this machine as a base. So right now you're just kind of seeing the warm up where I'm just basically doing like a little popping kind of pull up, just to kind of warm everything up a little bit. And just you notice I kind of a little swim move. I don't do it that often, but I just kind of swim the arms around, the circles around to get like kind of the shoulder blades kind of warmed up a little bit. And I basically kind of go back and forth with this and a pair of just some push-ups. I'm only getting, I don't know what, I think I was counting to like 20 ish. And so I kind of go back and forth with these between sets. And this, like I said, this workout right here is fairly easy. It actually went a little bit longer than I planned, so there was some dull time in between here, but the running time on the clock was like 15 minutes. This should probably take you guys, if you're just, watching my videos and kind of flying through these. I say a lot, let me know how you guys like to watch these. I can speed these up or edit them down, but for the most part, it should take you maybe, I would say on average, 30 minutes to as high as, 45 minutes, depending on the rest periods. I always say I like this stuff because it's, very easy, kind of very simplistic, very easy setup that I have. I always say they're kind of lazy workouts. Someone said the other day, like maybe it looks kind of harder than it really is. It really isn't. I think the more you do this stuff, the more, easier it kind of feels and is. But I like these are just very, very easy, basic workouts that I can do. Anybody can do after a long day of work or in the morning if you want to get up, just start messing around, popping around, playing with this. And that's what I think of. I think a lot of this stuff is just, really playing around with this. So in a second here, you guys are going to see me do a chest press using the machine. And I always say, like, I put links down below. One of the key items that I kind of like for most people to kind of have in their house is a solid bench. Some people don't have bench presses or have a solid bench or can't afford it right now. That's fine. The great thing is if you do have a pair of dumbbells, whether that's light dumbbells or heavy dumbbells, you can kind of use this as a bench. Granted, the weight limit on this is about 250 pounds. There's people on the channel that have commented that are a lot heavier than 250, as high as 275. I've heard even higher than that, and said the machine kind of holds it well. So I think this thing can kind of hold that weight limit to a certain extent. And so what you're going to see is me basically utilizing kind of more of an incline press. I make a little incline. You can make this a little bit higher, but you're going to see here I'm going to grab the pair of dumbbells, and I say definitely put this on a lower setting. If it's stretched too much, you're going to kind of, I think you basically kind of warp some of the metal there. So I put more of a lower setting and sit more towards the bottom of the sled basically. It wasn't that hard. I didn't think it was very hard to kind of sit into this and also kind of pop back out of it. But I think this works really well. Granted, this weight here, I think it's as high as, it gets as high as maybe 50 or 60, I'd say, on some of the sets that I do. But just to kind of pop out, just kind of throw your hands forward and pop out of it. This is one, if you guys are new to the channel, I've done this many times. I always say this is something you kind of got to practice. It's really not that hard, not that difficult. It's just kind of keep the range, keep the fluidity going. If you don't do any jerky movements with your arms, you should be good. I'm just kind of crossing them and then just doing this little row. You could do this in a staggered stance. You could do this kind of standing like I'm doing. But again, this is something, if you don't want to do this, you can just do the basic kneeling, row if you wanted to. Again, back to this one, I felt I haven't done this in a long time. One of the first videos I ever did was showcasing how you could use this as a bench, and I was going as high as 90. I didn't do that. And again, for sure, the more you started using this as if you were 90 pounds on each hand and doing pressing in there, you might kind of wear and tear the machine out a little bit. So I'm kind of I'm mindful of that. I'm not going to do too many, too heavy a weight or do it too often using that as a bench. But I can tell you again, you're looking at a very old machine. I've had this for a long time. And granted, the only wear and tear I've had, as I said in many videos, has really just been in the grips. I've replaced the grips, which again, those links are down below too, to the new grips that I use. I think are better than the previous ones. So you can see I'm getting a little heavier here. I want to say this is got to be around 50 or 60 pounds here. But I'm going to sign out here. I'll kind of chime in when we get kind of towards the end as the routine or the sequence kind of clicks back out. If you guys, again, like this content, you like what you're watching, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments as I go along here. Thanks. right, starting this next sequence here. This is one I know I've done before. I haven't done it, very recently, but another kind of good one. It's just kind of, you can see the setup. You can't put this too high, but just kind of a little push up to a little pike action with the Weider Total Body Works. And then the next transition, you can see it's set up with a single handle. So after I kind of do this, I jump right back into this. I kneel. I love this single arm row. I've said this in many videos. This is a great back exercise. You can put a lot of weight on here. The reason I'm kind of leaning back, although now I kind of kneeled up on it, I think I switch back and forth. Just a little bit different angle, but you can do whatever you want as far as sitting up on your knees like this, sitting kind of with your legs hanging. It's up to you. But the next exercise, the one thing I will comment on when I show you this push up to pike exercise, if I'm completely honest, I can see where if you have issues with your wrist or any kind of hands issue, I noticed in like the third set or end of these sets when I'm doing this, felt a little bit of kind of like tension in my wrist. So while I liked the exercise, I think a lot of sets and a lot of reps in this maybe could be an issue for some people. Again, you could sub this out for a number of things. You could do this and just take these handlebars off. That would probably be the problem, and grab a pair of like perfect push-ups. Those are good things to kind of have. I have a pair of those. Those would be something you put in the ground and do the exact same exercise. So if you have problems with your wrists or hands, that's something you could do. Then I'm kind of transitioning into these pull-ups, or I should say not pullovers. Again, just working your lats. So sometimes I'll kind of go into some tricep extensions and then into these pullovers. But again, another great exercise. These are, I would go pound for pound with any pullover you could do in a commercial gym, whether it's with a dumbbell or pullovers on a cable machine. So I think as far as the exercise of, lat pullovers are concerned, this Weider Ultimate Body Works, or if you got a total gym, really works pretty good for doing the pullover exercise. And then basically you're going to see me kind of transition and kind of splice a lot of things together as we're kind of getting to the end of this workout, or I would say kind of middle to end of the workout. I start putting in some tricep extensions. These are always a staple in a lot of my exercises if I'm hitting arms towards the end of the upper body. And then once I kind of do this, so I'm kind of playing with it. I'm just kind of feeling out a little bit if I was going to do it then, but you're kind of seeing me think on the fly. I do the triceps more towards the end. And then again, I was thinking about maybe hitting these chest flies, just kind of a little topper on top of what I've already been doing. These are just always a solid addition. I mean, they never really get old in my opinion. So if you're doing chest, this is a great exercise. I've said many times, depending on the angle you do, depending on the angle that you're pressing, you can press a little bit higher, more of an incline. These can be also another great exercise. So again, you're going to see this semi-basic sequence of the pullovers, and then into the chest press is basically what I kind of make this sequence, and then I'm going to start wrapping it up with arms. So again, I will let this kind of play out a bit, and I'll kind of check back in towards the end and sign out. All right, so you can see me, I did some of those inverted bicep curls. Those, again, a staple whenever I do these arm exercises towards the end of my workout with the upper body. And again, this was something I did about last week or about a week and a half ago. Was one exercise I kind of discovered, this kind of neutral grip. Press down, I think always feels pretty good. But you'll notice on this one, there's a little more volume than I think is traditionally maybe shown on this channel. I think especially for arms, you're just seeing me do a little bit more. For whatever reason, it might have just been for timing. I'm not sure why I did that, but I'm always a huge fan, as I say all the time, just go by feeling whenever you're playing with this machine. If you feel like you did too much, if your joints are feeling iffy, then just, call it a day. I think, less is more a lot of the times. However, since we don't have a lot of weight, you can't get a lot of intensity. If you feel like you got a decent amount of muscle and you feel like you need to kind of work the body to keep that stimulus going, then by all means, you got to up the volume, which is oftentimes what I do. I probably do a little more sets than I do reps sometimes. Like even on these higher inclines, sometimes with especially bicep curls, it sometimes can be hard to actually get out even 10 repetitions at the highest incline. That is if you're not kind of like grinding out the set. So this was like a nice neutral setting, I'd say. I didn't count the reps, but you can see my biceps started getting tired, so then I kind of throw in some frontal raises, and I do that a lot if I'm doing biceps in this position. I'll just incorporate some frontal raises. So that's pretty much this sequence. I kind of just work around these few exercises here. The same thing from the inverted bicep curls, do frontal raises, to some lying tricep extensions in that prone position. So that's it. As usual, thank you for watching. If you guys watch most of this video, again, I always, every time I make this, it seems like a lot of people do like these workouts, but I'm always kind of hesitant to maybe giving myself a break about recording this. But if I see that people still like watching the workouts, I will keep recording them and putting them out there. So any feedback, as my point, is always beneficial to me and things you guys want to see on this channel. So thanks again for watching.